We are back, and wow, the the Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. Wow, wow. I'll tell you what, the show really started picking up in episode 5. I've had some other videos out where I just felt like the show was dragging a little bit, but this thing knocked it out of the park. One of the things that's interesting is the stuff that's the most exciting about this series is the Mandalorian storyline. It's not Boba Fett. So I'm really hoping with the last 2 episodes, 7 and 8, they can really knock this thing out of the park. I think Boba needs to go back to being the really bad guy that he is. It's funny. First, let's just talk about the CGI with Luke Skywalker. Unbelievable. I mean, light years. It's funny when they released the making of the season finale of The Mandalorian. One thing that Jon Favreau continuously said throughout it was, in a year, this stuff is going to blow your mind, like this technology in a year. Well, ta-da! I mean, remember when they shot the season finale, it aired months and months and months later. So it's been a year. I know that they hired Shamuk, or Shamuk, however you want to say it, who's a really good deep faker on YouTube. And I'm sure he was with a team of people. It just wasn't just him. They didn't just hand him the controls and say, here, do it. I'm sure there were lighting guys. There were this, that, and the other. They shared the workload. But unbelievable stuff with Luke Skywalker. I loved how Grogu was being trained. I loved how when he was fighting the training droid, he was doing the jumps like Yoda did in Attack of the Clones, which I guess with that species being so small, that might be the only way they can evade things is to leap like a frog. And I thought that was great. You know, Timothy Oliphant, the Marshal getting killed. Really, I hope he's only wounded and it's the other guy that because he got gunned down pretty hardcore by Cad Bane. I thought Cad Bane looked fantastic. All right, it's hard to translate that animation from like the Clone Wars and Rebels and all. It's hard to translate that kind of animation into a live action character. Cad Bane is very lanky and skinny. His head is weird. But I realized that, they put animatronic type prosthetic on somebody, an actor, because I think that was the best solution because of dialogue and stuff to really make that character work. I know his mouth is a little bit smaller than the kind of the long mouth that he has, or snout, I should say. But to translate that character and his entrance, walking through the desert, with the haze and all that stuff coming on. I mean, oh my God, it was classic Western. Still sticking with that Western motif from The Mandalorian. Love it. Again, Timothy Oliphant's character, I really hope he's not dead. Because I did a movie with him years ago. He's super, super nice. Love the guy to death, called The Crazies. And then, of course, W. Earl Brown came back as the Weequay bartender, which, love him, worked with him on a couple projects. So it's really nice to see these guys coming back into the fold. That's really it, man. I mean, I really just enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the lore. There was this one moment where Ahsoka Tano and Luke Skywalker were talking, and it's just like, it's wild to see those branch together, and I feel like, maybe towards the end of this thing, we may get a proper reuniting between Luke, Han, and Princess Leia that we didn't get, that we were kind of robbed of in the sequel trilogy. I think we're going to get that. And I think, as the technology keeps going forward, they could do a whole new trilogy based within this same timeline if they wanted to. Heir to the Empire, Thrawn, with Han, Luke, and Leia at the age range that they would be in because of the deep fake technology. They could do it. I'd be all about it. So yeah, I can't get enough. I've watched it 4 times. I watched the episode 4 times. I just can't get enough of it. And I keep looking at it and looking and just studying how, the Luke Skywalker stuff. But again, it's like, it's the book of Boba Fett, but it's almost like episode 5 and 6 were episode 1 and 2 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. That's kind of how I feel. But again, like the people are, it just goes to show you that people are more excited. Not saying that Boba Fett didn't deserve his own series. But I almost feel like Boba Fett could have been left alone as being this mysterious guy that we didn't know all his backstory. Although we knew going back to Attack of the Clones, his backstory, but like we could have just left him as this mysterious guy in the helmet that was, didn't say a lot of words and just killed people. And I think like Cad Bane even like hinted, he's a cold-blooded killer and he worked for the Empire. And it's true. So like, we all, as fans, I think we all like that Boba Fett. And although I get the character development and things change and he's, with the Sand People and he's found a new way, it doesn't want to be a bounty hunter anymore. But in the end, like, it's like, that's who that character was. And the fact that we only had 2 minutes and 8 seconds worth of Boba Fett prior to any of this on screen, we wanted more of that guy and not this transition guy. It's almost like Luke Skywalker with The Last Jedi. It's like we were left off with Return of the Jedi where he was like a fully realized Jedi Knight. And we needed that middle part before we make him a jaded old dude that hates the Jedi. Because I think that was a shock to everyone because it was such a far leap into the future that we didn't get to see the Luke Skywalker that we wanted to. And we're getting a little bit of that now. I hope he jumps in there, maybe trains Mando with the Darksaber, or he joins the fight and we just see him. And then it'll be very interesting to see Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker in the same room together because of what happened at the sailing barge. It'll be very interesting to see how that goes down. Because, Boba Fett kind of hyperspaced out at the end of season 2 of the Mandalorian after he, kind of paid the debt and got Mando onto that cruiser. It's like he missed Luke. He missed Luke. Now, what would have happened if he'd have been in that room when Luke came through? So, and what's going to happen if he does see Han Solo, if they do a deep fake on Han and he sees Han? Han's the one that hit the jetpack, threw him in the sword. I mean, like, how's that all going to play out? Who knows if we even get to see that, but I hope we do. I hope you like this episode of The Mandalorian. I did too. Let's talk about it in the comments section and we'll see you on the next one.